Julius Caesar, after conquering most of Gaul, faced resistance from German tribes who incited rebellions by 56 BC. He chose to display Rome's power by crossing the Rhine, an unprecedented feat for a Roman general. This video shows how Julius Caesar and his legions were able to do this in such a short space of time, and how he dealt with the rebellion of these German tribes. The German tribes of Usipetes and Tencteri, pressured by the Suebi, started a westward migration in 58 BC, crossing the Rhine in 55 BC and entering the territory of the Menapi. When the Germans arrived, the Menapi vacated their settlements on the east bank of the Rhine and held the right bank to avoid a German crossing. Lacking boats, the Germans tricked the Menapi by falsely retreating and carried out a night attack, capturing the Gauls' boats and conquering part of the Menapi's territory. Aware of the circumstances, Caesar left Cisalpine Gaul for Transalpine Gaul earlier than usual. Moreover, the Germans were invited by Gaul tribes to serve as mercenaries in intertribal wars, leading them to settle in the territory of the Eburones and the Condrusi, who were Roman clients between the river Musa and the Rhine. Caesar called together Gaul leaders, pledged allegiance to Rome, and requested cavalry. He then went to Koblenz to face the German tribes. They asked for land and offered an alliance, but Caesar declined the proposal and offered land on the other side of the Rhine, in the territory of the Ubii. The German representatives asked for 3 days to consider Caesar's offer, requesting that he not move his camp any closer during this period. He refused due to reports that they had sent a large cavalry force across the river Musa to plunder Ambiorix's lands, suspecting that they were merely delaying the fight until the force returned. Caesar kept on marching, and the German envoys resurfaced, asking him to refrain from advancing and to allow them to send an embassy to the Ubii. The German emissaries asked for 3 more days to negotiate with the Ubii, and agreed to accept Caesar's terms if the Ubii accepted. Although hesitant, Caesar decided to wait and moved another 4 miles in search of water, where he gathered all his troops and planned to make a decision on the German request. He instructed his cavalry not to attack, and to wait for him if they were assaulted. Once the German cavalry charged, despite the unfavorable odds, they managed to defeat the Roman cavalry, slaying 74 of its members, while the rest fled towards Caesar's column. Caesar moved fast after the cavalry battle to avoid the retreat being interpreted as a defeat. He took his army on a surprise march to the German camp, catching them unprepared. The Romans stormed it, and while some resisted briefly, many Germans fled, including women and children. Caesar chased after the escapees, causing the morale of the Germanic tribes to plummet as they abandoned their weapons and ran towards the river in hope of safety. Following the victory over the Germans, many were killed or drowned trying to cross the Rhine. Caesar faced a lot of criticism in Rome, however, especially for having arrested the German emissaries sent to apologize for the cavalry attack. Caesar's political opponents in Rome seized on this to criticize his conduct during the campaign. Caesar nonetheless decided to cross the Rhine. He would become the first Roman general to do so, and could further hush up any criticism of his actions against the Germans, as well as increasing his reputation. He also believed that crossing the river would deter future German incursions. Caesar was intent on pursuing the German cavalry who had allied themselves with the Sicambri after crossing the Musa. He sent messengers to the Sicambri, demanding the return of the German fugitives. The Sicambri rejected Caesar's request, claiming that Roman rule did not extend beyond the left bank of the Rhine, and their actions were beyond Caesar's reach. Caesar's triumph did not impress most of the German tribes, except for the Ubii, who established a treaty of friendship with Rome. They offered boats to help cross the Rhine, but Caesar was wary of the Ubii and rejected the offer due to concerns about the operation's safety. Right then, Roman engineering skills kicked in to surprise the Germans. Instead of using boats, Caesar ordered the construction of a striking bridge, which was finished in just 10 days. It was probably built in the middle of the Rhine, north of Koblenz. This was an impressive feat of engineering, as the Rhine in this region has an average width of around 1,300 feet, and a depth of approximately 20 feet. During the building process, Caesar was asked for peace and alliance by multiple Germanic tribes, which he accepted favorably, provided they handed over hostages as a guarantee of their trustworthiness. While a guard stood at the bridge, the Roman forces marched towards the territory of the Sicambri, who had already fled when they heard about the bridge's construction. Like some of the Gaul tribes had done before, the Sicambri sought refuge in the forests, taking with them all their belongings. Caesar spent a few days in the Sicambri's territory, where he destroyed and set fire to several villages. 18 days after completing the bridge, he ordered its destruction. This action not only served as a warning to the German tribes, but also as a signal to his opponents in Rome, showing that Caesar was willing to face any challenge and take whatever decisions he deemed necessary. After this victory, Caesar prepared for his expedition to Britannia to show the power of Rome to the Bretons. The next video in our series on the Gallic Wars will explore the challenge this tribe represented for the Roman navy, and how Julius Caesar dealt with this threat, even at a disadvantage. See you in the next video.